What happens once an athlete becomes a former athlete? Smith and Whiteside aim to answer this question in their article From Taped Up to Mic'd Up. When athletes transition from athlete to former athlete, they often begin to experience feelings of loss. Furthermore, they begin to question their identity and self-worth, which can lead to depression and anxiety as they try to figure out what lies ahead in their future. Smith and Whiteside set out to see how becoming a part of the sports media industry helps former athletes transition their identity. The researchers use a theory as an interpretive lens to help frame their study and help describe the transition between their identities. The theory used is social identity theory, which basically uses categories of us and them to describe in and out groups. The researchers use this theory to help describe how former athletes explain their experiences as in and out group members of their former sports and now the sports media. Methodologically, the researchers conducted 13 interviews amongst the former athletes. 7 were female and 6 were male, with the average age being approximately 29 years old. The interviews were audio recorded, transcribed, and then read multiple times to check for accuracy. The interviews provided a thick description, or a deeper level contextual meaning, of what life in the sports media industry means to these athletes. The researchers then coded the interviews, meaning they looked for themes amongst the different interviews, and came to find 3 major themes. The first major theme was that working in sports media helps the former athletes feel relevant. Most interviewees described that they created an athletic self which was separate from their normal self. This athletic self was then fulfilled through their transition into sports media. It allowed the former athletes to renew their special sense of purpose, especially through the social impact that they can have through their new job. The second major theme found was that former athletes' experience at the elite level enhances their broadcasting or journalism traits. They found their experiences gave them valuable insider knowledge, comparing it to having an internship in the field. Their experience as a former athlete gives them the ability to participate in Verstehen by having empathy with their sources, i.e. current athletes, which gives them more credibility with their sources and with their audiences. Finally, a gender bias was found regarding reporter credibility. All but one of the female participants reported gender discrimination in terms of their credibility. However, their athletic experience gave them a sense of protection from bias, thus creating a division among female sports media agents mediated by the athletic experience. Relating this back to the theory, the research shows that the former athletes now have reached membership in 2 in-groups, that being an athlete and a sports media agent, which allows them to transition their athletic self or identity into a more normal self or identity. However, women found that they faced conditional membership to this in group of sports media agents, which does nothing to help the already low number of women who work in the field. Self-categorization into these in and out groups raises new questions for sport communication scholars to answer concerning identity and gender, amongst other topics.